Good morning, scrapping friends, and welcome to Creating Your Memories. I'm Deborah Kozlovic, and I'm a Creative Memories Independent Advisor from Australia. Today, I want to share you another addition to my Christmas layouts that I do every second year with my grandchildren, of making a Christmas bauble and putting a snow globe and a photo on a page, and they write a letter to Santa of what they would like to get that year. So I do that for each one of them. So then that makes it into like a double page spread. So to make this and to complete this layout today, the items that I used are the custom system circles. So I would need all three of your blades. I'm also going to be using the poinsettia edge up the top. So you'll need your border maker system. And I'm also using the tag punch, which is the 3-in-1 bevel tag punch. So I will be using that also today. I've also pulled out a couple of tip pens and my chalking pen, which that is mainly just to go around the edges of my paper and my cardstock. So that's really optional, but it just gives it a little bit of a difference and, you know, bringing it alive from your backing page. So the other things that I will be using to complete this layout is from the Seasonal Sightings paper collection, from the Tone on Tone. I've pulled out this red and white dotted designer paper, and you've just got the red on the reverse side. And the other two that's also optional to use is the green dotted with the green on the reverse side. So I have 5 grandchildren now, so I will be making 5 page layouts for that. The other thing that you would need to complete this layout is some cranberry cardstock. So you might want to do a red bauble, you might want to do a green bauble, it's depending on what color that you would like. So, but I will be using the cranberry. And also I've pulled out some off pieces of our Seasonal Sightings designer paper and the Total Tone to complete my snow globe, as well as the edging with the poinsettia, and some Kelly Green to do my little tags. Then I've also got the white rule lined paper, so I would use that, and that way that they can do their little journaling for their bauble. And you can actually buy the white rule line paper in a pack of 12, so that's also available on the Creative Memories website. So to start off with, so just getting all my little bits together, just get this layout out. So to start off with, I'm going to start making the bigger bauble, and this bauble on the opposite side I would use as a photo. So my granddaughter's already done her little journaling in her bauble, and then I'll place a photo, and then I've got the little snow globe down the bottom. And also with a double page spread, I've just made it mirror image, that way you open it up, close it, it joins together. And also down here I've done the little snow globe, so then I'll put a photo of him in here and I'll get him to do his little journaling. 2 of my grandchildren cannot write as yet, as they're only little, so I've actually got them, one of them, to actually draw me a little picture. So she has drawn this picture on another white cardstock. So the bit that I will be taking out from this is this little bit here, and this represents Emma from the Wiggles, and this little blue structure figurine here is Bluey. So I would take that out and I would just do a little bit of journaling on that. So once they look through these Christmas albums, they can see what resembles this picture in years to come. So to start off with, just put all these aside. So I'm just going to use one of my cranberry cardstocks to start off with to complete this layout. So I've got my instructions here. So we're going to make the larger bauble. So we're going to need the medium circle and the blue blade. So medium circle, blue blade, cutting on the outside, and that will get your outside ring. So that's the outer base. So the next one is our line paper, also with the blue, so to say the medium circle, and we will be using the red blade. Lining that on your line so you've got straight lines when you adhere that to your cardstock. So now that we've cut our circle from our lined paper, the next thing I did was got my chalking pen using the thicker end and then just going around the edge like so. So once that dries, you can see that white chalking pen come out, and I'll show you what I mean by my other layout of what I did. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can see just the chalking edge around the outside, and I also did the same thing on my tags. And with the line paper, I've used the red. So it's the reason why I pulled out the red, or I might use the green. So just going around the outside of your cranberry red circle. So just doing like a finish touch. So now that I've done that, I'm going to be using my forest green, but I'm going to use the dot tip end, and I'm just going to slowly just go around the edge of that. So that way it gives it a nice green edging. So I'll continue to do that all the way around. It's just having a steady hand and just going around. And this line circle that I've done with this line paper, that gives it enough room for any child to write a little letter from Santa of what they would like for Christmas. I'm going to get my tape runner, put a little bit of tape on and adhere that to the circle. So that's our first bauble. So for our second bauble, which is the one that the photo sits in, I'm going to bring in my cranberry cardstock again, and I'm going to be using the small circle with the blue blade, and we're going to do that on the outside. And then the same thing as what I did with the larger circle, I'm just going to go around the outer edge with the chalking pen. Once again, just to give it that edging, and then you can just place your photo on top. So that would, if you use the small custom system circle with your red blade, and you can just place your photo on top of that cranberry circle. And normally with our small CC circles, that will fit on a normal 6x4 photo, and you'll be able to use the red blade to cut out your photo. Okay, so now I've done that edging, just waiting for that to dry, and then that will all appear. So now that we have our journaling bauble and we also have our photo bauble, the next thing I'm going to do is going to bring in my Kelly Green Cardstock, and this is the color that I have chosen to do my tag. So with the tag, it has these different little measurements on the front, so you can actually make a tag at 1 inch wide, 2 inches wide, or 2.5 inches wide. So for our bigger bauble, I'm going to be doing a 2.5 wide inch. I'm just neating up that edge because this cardstock was used for something else. So I'm just going to cut 2.5 strips, kneading up my bottom edge. Put that trimmer aside. So I'm going to bring in my tag punch. So I've got a 2.5 width cardstock, so I'm going to place that into my tag maker, punch the top of it, which gives that nice little hanging, and then I'm going to bring back in my trimmer and I'm going to trim that probably on the 2-inch mark, because most of that would be tucked behind anyway. So I'm just going to line that up and cut it at 2 inches from there to there, and then that will sit nicely behind that bauble. So the next tag I will make is a 2-inch wide for the smaller one. So I'm just going to place that in my tag maker. And as you can see from the difference of the different sizing of your tag, making a 2.5 to a 2-inch are a little bit different when you punch them out. So I'll also make that one at 2 inches because that'll be enough to tuck behind and to adhere down on my bauble. So then that will go behind there. So I'm done with the tag maker. So then I'll bring back out my chalking pen, and then I'll just go on the outside of the green and give it a nice little edging. You can also, if you don't want to just, you know, like go around roughly as I am on the edge, you can also do like a stitching, and it doesn't have to be used with the chalking pen. You might want to use a green or a red, even the black Duro pens, and do a stitching edge, or you might just want to leave it plain. So just going around the edges. So now that we've finished going around the edges of our tags with the chalking pen, so now I'll just adhere them on the back of the bauble. I'm just using the normal tape runner, so I'm just going to line that up on my 13 by 13 inch mat. Just move it up a bit so you all can see, and I just want to line it up just on the top so you can see it. So then I'll do the same thing with our smaller one, using my tape runner again, and just doing the same thing, just lining it up. And it all depends on how much tag that you would like to see showing at the top of your bauble. So now I'm just going to bring in my base page, which I'm going to be using this white and green dotted paper, designer paper, and it's just got the green design on the back, and that is from the seasonal side on Tone on Tone. So to make this, I might just make it opposite to the other one. So then they will sit like that. So to make our little string for our bauble, I've chosen to use this paper here, and that is from our Totally Turn on Christmas. It's got the red gibbon on the back, and then you've got the, I should say the plaid on the back and the red gibbon on the front. So I'm just going to cut this onto the next dotted line. So that measures, I think it's like 1/8. So it's just a thin strip, which is enough just to use like a string with the baubles hanging. So I'm just going to trim 2 of those. And then to adhere these, just going to put them through. Just holding that up and just pinching it. And then I'll get my repositional tape to get that crease again. Just put a little bit of repositional tape just on the front there, and then again on the back, just to have those in place. So any excess repositional you can just rub off with your fingers. So then I'll do exactly the same thing with the other one, just putting it through. And then using the repositional tape. And then just again on the back. So when I'm rubbing off the excess, I'm mainly just rubbing it off the front, not too worried about the back. So just lining my page up on my map and just situation where I would like my baubles to sit. So I'm thinking something like so. And then I can also still fit my little snow globe down the bottom. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to get my tape runner now, and I'm just going to put some tape under the bottom, and I'm going to adhere that in place, and then I'll do the same with the other one. And then just a little bit up the top where the tag is. I'm just going to turn this around. So I'm just going to use my repositional tape just to adhere these little strips down. So I'm just going to try and put them on the back of the strips and then put them in place. And then I'll do the same thing with the bigger one. So I'm just more or less just holding it and just putting a little bit of repositional on the back of that thin strip. So just making sure that everything is straight. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Just getting rid of that excess tape. So now I'll get my micro tip scissors and just trim the back. These strips will be covered with that poinsettia edge border that we would have up the top. So now we might do the poinsettia edge. So I'm going to bring in my border maker system and the poinsettia edge cartridge. I've also decided to use the same paper from our Total Tonal Christmas, and that's the gibbon with the plaid on the opposite side. So I'm just going to punch that So just doing an edge, nice little edge that will place up the top of our page layout. With this little excess strip here, you could also use that for the string on your baubles, which is perfect length, perfect width to have it hanging. So now I'm going to bring back in my trimmer and I'm going to line up this just so you can see these little lines here where the last poinsettia edge is. I'm going to line that up on the edge of the grey strip on my cutting mat. And then cut. So it's not a wide strip. So now I would put repositional tape on the back. Just a little bit down on the edging of that poinsettia. So just starting from one end to the other and adhering that down. So now all that's left, if I bring in my other layout now, I can show you that, is the little snow globe down the bottom. So to make that, I've chosen a few papers, different papers, and these ones are out of the Seasonal Sightings Designer paper pack. And to create that, I use the large circle. So I'm going to have my green dotted as my background with the red blade. So placing that down on my designer paper using the red blade and the inside track, and I'll cut a circle. And then we want a lighter colour for the middle of our bauble. So I'm also using the large circle, but now I would use the blue blade. And I'll adhere that together. So just lining it up and centering it, just so it has that frame edging on the outside. So now to make our little base, I'm also going to be using the Kelly Green. So I've got this little bit left over from before, which that measures, so I went 2 1/4 wide, and then I want it 2 long, so that's just a perfect size. So now I'll get my corner rounder and I'm going to corner the bottom edges. And then my snow globe will sit on as so. So it also depends on how big you want to have your snow globe base. So that's why I've done that extra distance in between, because you might want to have a bigger one, you might want to have a shorter one. So the preference of that is, you know, like up to yourself. And plus you have to make sure that you've got enough for adhering it to the back of your circle also. So that's our little snow globe. So I'm going to bring back in that layout, and the little snow globe will sit down the bottom. So that's how I completed my little bauble page. So the only thing you need to do now with your snow globe is adding a few embellishments. You can also add a little title if you like. So I've used embellishments and stickers on my baubles. So you can do exactly the same thing in your snow globe. I've also given it a little bit of a snow, and this one's got like the little stars behind it, and I've used the dotted page, the designer paper in the back of this one, so it looks like, you know, the snow is falling. So, and bringing in the other one, and I've done exactly the same thing with the other snow globe. I've done the Christmas trees, and then oh what fun. So that's my bauble page technique, that I do little Christmas pages for my grandchildren every couple of years, because everything changes in a couple of years of what they like, and their writing, and having a photo of them in the bauble is also a little bit different every year of how much they change. So I hope you enjoyed my tuition today on making a snow globe page. I would love to see your finished layouts. If you decide to make a bauble page today, you can just place that in the comments where I post my pages on. So they'll be either posted on my Instagram and my Facebook page. So if you liked what you've seen today, please like and give me some love. Any comments, I'll be happy to answer, and subscribe today. Happy scrapping, everyone.